Deadlifting is one of the main exercises for the bending pattern. There's a couple of different things that's wise to consider when it comes to deadlifting. The leg positioning can always vary. When a human being lifts up something from the ground, your leg positioning can vary. Generally talking, in a gym, unless differently noted, I like to recommend people to stand relatively wide and grip relatively narrow on the bar that you're using. The reason for that, if a human being would try to pick up something very heavy from the ground, they would go down in also a very wide position. That doesn't mean that sometimes it's not a wise thing to try to do narrow grip deadlifts, for example, a narrow stance deadlift with wider grip, just because we want to make sure we're very versatile with our bending pattern. But for this upload, this is deadlifting with wide stance, narrow grip. Just like any other exercise, you always want to go very close to the object that you're picking up. In this case, the bar. So you go very close to it, you bend down, you immediately want to try to make sure that your back is at least straight. You're aiming for lordosis, which is a little bit of arch, which naturally going to straighten out as you're doing this exercise. You're gripping the bar, reverse grip. As you start to lift heavier and heavy weights, you will realize that if you grip symmetrically like this, the bar is very easily rolling out of your hand. Reverse grip immensely increases the weight that you can hang on to. Arching the lower back, looking up, lifting up the bar that you're using. I'm going to turn into an angle so you see the way I perform this exercise. Looking nice and straight. When you're looking straight or a slight bit up, it activates all your muscles in your back, helping you to maintain the perfect lifting position. So I just did a narrow stance deadlift, and generally talking, what we are aiming for is a narrow grip, wider stance. If you take a look from the side, till I reach my knee, I'm predominantly moving from my hip. Once I reach my knee, it is more like a squat. So squat, reaching the knee, predominantly hip. The exercise is nice and smooth. Make sure, as you fatigue, you don't fall into the mistake of getting your butt up high first and then getting everything from the hip. It usually means that your lower back muscles are not capable of withstanding or lifting the weight that you're trying to use. So you want to be very careful with that. You always want to synchronize. As you're coming up, your trunk is gradually straightening up as well. Wide stance. As you're standing with your feet, pay attention. Let me come closer, you see my foot position. When you're hip width, your feet should be almost parallel. As you're stepping wider and wider, it's completely fine and it's necessary for your feet to turn out a slight bit. Make sure you're always very symmetric when it comes to deadlifting. It's very important to understand that the smallest deviation of one foot can really immensely increase the torque forces in your spine as you're lifting a heavier load. So, maintaining the lower back position, nice and wide stance, narrow grip. As you're lifting, till your knee, predominantly a squat, and from there it's more like a hip move. Hip first, squat. Make sure the bar always stays very close to your body. Very close to your body. If you're picking up the weights from the ground, you want to make sure you're very close to it. Okay? Many beginners make the mistake standing too far, and as they pick up the bar swings towards you, immediately throwing you off balance. This was deadlifting.